Hello everybody, this is Mr. Storm. I'm going to show you what your final project should look like when you are finished. And I'm also going to use this video to kind of describe the process that you would go through for putting together your Google site, which is something that you may not have as much experience with as the other parts of the project. So let's go ahead and take a look at Google Sites first. So if you go to sites.google.com, that will bring you to a website that looks much like this. Now, before you move any further, before you click Create, you're going to want to go down here where it says New Google Sites, and you're going to want to click that link because that'll take you to a new, the newest version of Google Sites that is actually a lot easier to use, and it looks a whole lot better when you're done. So I'm going to show you what my website looks like. This is a final project. This is a finished project that you guys are going to be working on. And this is kind of an example of what your project should look like when you're done. So I will do a preview of this so we can see what it looks like. Big screen. So you are basically creating a website about the topic that you're supposed to be researching. I picked the road to the Second World War because that's an event that I didn't put in my list of events, so this is one that wouldn't be repeated, so you can't copy from me. And I put together the three items that you need for this project. First up, I have an MLA formatted 400-word essay. This is actually a little over 500 words. About the road to the Second World War. It is researched and cited and everything else. And if I scroll all the way down, you can see I have a works cited page that is formatted per APA formatting style. And I have three resources here. The assignment description says to have at least two. So that's my paper. And that is built in Google Docs, by the way. And I'll show you how to embed everything and build your website after I get done explaining all this stuff. Then right below it, I have an embedded Google Slides presentation, which is a second part of your assignment. So it is on the same topic, the road to the Second World War. And, oh, and jumped up. And I have a couple slides here. There's a slide on Adolf Hitler, a couple pieces of information about him, and a picture. And then I have a slide on, I'm going to go ahead and just maximize this. Let's do full screen. So I have a slide on Benito Mussolini, a couple pieces of information, and a picture. Emperor Hirohito from Japan, a couple pieces of information, and a picture. And then I have a video here.
World War II was the largest
from Khan Academy about the same topic. A little more in-depth on how World War II started. And then I have my works cited page, my slide with all my information on it, where I got my information from. And then I have my media resources. This is something that you may not have done before. But with a presentation like this, if you're using pictures, you want to say where you got the pictures. For me, I got all of my pictures from the wikimedia.org website, the commons.wikimedia.org website, which is a great website. It hosts everything on there under the Creative Commons license of fair use, and so you can use those files without getting into any kind of trouble. And I just say I got it from Wikimedia Commons, and then I put a link to each picture so that you can go to those websites and you can see all the licensing information. So go back, and then right below that I have the video link. It's a Khan Academy video. It's published under the Creative Commons license with reuse, and the YouTube link to get
World
to
War
the page.
II was.
And if you go down here, actually, you can see the license is Creative Commons Attribution License Reuse Allowed. So as long as I attribute this video to Khan Academy, I can use it in my presentation. And there's even a link here that shows you what that means, and there's an explanation of that. So I've done everything
World
legally.
War II was the largest.
I've done everything that I need to do legally, so I've attributed all of that work to the people who deserve to have that work attributed to them. So this is what you're going to want to do. You want to make sure this is in here, because without this, then it technically can be plagiarism. Because without citing your sources, you are essentially saying, I did this myself, right? Without citing your sources, you're saying, I did this myself, which you did not. All right, and then down here, I have a Google Sheets, or Google Sheets embed, and I have created this Google Sheet and made a timeline out of it. So let's go ahead and load it. So this is just Google Sheets, World War II timeline. And it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. All right. And this is very simple. I just used shading and readjusted some rows here and things like that. I just used, added some pictures in here and resized them to fit where they needed to go, just to add some more visual elements. Pictures aren't necessarily required for your project, but I thought it made this look pretty nice. I'll move this down just a little bit. I thought I made it look pretty nice, so I added them. And it's not that hard to do, not that much extra work. But I have everything labeled, so the year that these events took place. I have a description of what happened. Adolf Hitler becomes a leader of the Nazi Party. And I also have a hyperlink to every event has a hyperlink attached to it so that I can go to that website where I got that information from, and you can read more about it if you'd like. But it's visually appealing. It looks pretty good. You want to make sure that yours looks pretty good as well. Now, the timeline is probably the easiest thing to do with this project, but if you wanted to do something different with your Google Sheets portion of the presentation, I'm okay with that as long as it makes sense for your presentation. And you know, when in doubt, just come talk to me and we'll work it out. We'll see what actually is the best thing to do. But yeah, with these links, you can click it and it'll take you to the website where that information comes from. You know, stuff like that. So that is my whole project. It is complete, it's finished, and it is a published website that you can go to. So not really that much to do. It's mainly a research project. You're going to do a lot of research, you're going to read a lot about this subject and become essentially an expert. And that is the goal. Now, really quickly, just to show you how to build this page. First of all, whenever you open up a new Google site, it's going to be pretty blank. So actually, let me go ahead and create a new Google site. Let's do that. Let's create a new one, and I'll show you kind of the steps from the very beginning. So this is a blank Google site, and there's nothing on it. There's the page title and some stuff over here. First thing we want to do is we want to give our page a title. You know, so example page, sure. And then I want to do a theme. The theme is probably the second thing you want to do. And pick a theme that matches the idea of your presentation. We'll go ahead and pick Aristotle for this one. And with this header, you can actually change the image, change the background image, select an image, and you can actually just search for a cool image. So we'll say, I don't know, let's do skateboards. I don't know why, it just popped into my head. So we'll pick this one, that looks pretty cool. We'll put that in the background, and it'll just pop that right in the back. Okay, cool. Now, right below it, we want to start inserting some items. Now, luckily for us, if you've already created your paper and your slide presentation and your sheet, all you have to do is just click on these items here, and it will pull up your Google Docs that are attached to your account, and click Insert, and it pops it right in there. And then for some of these, you can resize them if you want, just to, you know, show more. Oh, you didn't want that. To show more of them. And that's okay. You can do that if you want. Just make it look as good as you possibly can. We'll put our slide in here. Just choose that one. That looks good. And the slides want to come in here like half. They only want to take up half the screen, so I like to stretch them out. Oh. And then I like to make them as big as I possibly can. Take up as much of the screen as possible. Even, you know, try to get rid of these black bars here on the sides. So we'll do that. That looks pretty good. So it's nice and big. And then the last thing you want to do is embed your Google Sheet, which I will grab my World War II timeline again and insert that. And, you know, again, make that as big as it needs to. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Make that as big as it needs to be to fit your entire presentation. So, and that's pretty much it. when you're done with that, all you have to do is make sure you have a title for your site up here, and then you can publish it. And this will be, you know, example. When you're publishing, you can click anyone at UMA or at UtahMilitaryAcademy.org can view, or you can just say anyone on the web to publish it to everything, which is a great idea. You can also allow your site to appear in search results, which will mean that people can Google it and find it if it's popular enough. So I would definitely recommend selecting these two options, and then you click Publish. And once it's done, you can actually view your website and see what it looks like. So within literally like 3 minutes, we just created the website. So the website creation portion isn't too difficult. And then all you have to do to turn this in is just copy this URL up here. So the address of your website. So you would just want to copy this and send me a link to this website. So you can either pop that into a separate Google Doc and then upload the Google Doc, or you can just send it to me in an email. However you get me this link doesn't really matter to me, just as long as I get the link to your web page when it's finally published and finished. Because all I'm going to do for grading is I'm going to come to your web page, I'm going to read your paper, make sure it's all in MLA format. I'm going to go through your presentation, watch the video, look at the pictures, make sure you've cited everything correctly. I'm going to look at your Google Sheets portion, go through that, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to, and then you're going to get a grade. So it's a lot of big projects lumped into one kind of smaller project, if that makes sense. If you have any questions about this project, please let me know. We are going to be working on this for at least a week, maybe more, depending on how the schedule pans out. But you should easily be able to get this done. I sat down and wrote the paper, created the presentation, and did the Excel or the Google Sheets portion of it in roughly about 2 hours or so. So you should be able to do it in 3 or 4 hours. So you should be totally fine. Should be able to get this done in class. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I will be happy to answer anything you want to ask about this project. Please make sure you turn this in. It's a huge part of your grade. All right, thank you for watching.